Good evening, Shelby Township. How are you doing tonight? I don't think anybody's out there. Do you guys hear anybody? How's everybody doing tonight? It's a little better. I mean, you know, we do have a ton of space up here in front. Don't be shy. We won't bite, I promise. That first tune that we played was called Liberty Bell March. It's been played at nearly every inauguration for the last 5 sitting presidents, except for our current sitting president. The next tune that we're going to play for you is our national anthem. So if we could all please have you rise for the playing of our national anthem. Wow, that sun is not bright at all. It's great. So that last tune that you heard was by Morton Gould. It's called American Salute. And it's an arrangement of When Johnny Comes Marching Home, which composed by Patrick Bilmore for his sister, who was awaiting the return of her fiancé in the Union Army. He was a captain in the light cavalry. It's said that he didn't come up with the original tune, that he heard somebody whistling it on the street, and then he elaborated it and made it sound really good. This is, of course, an arrangement by Leroy Anderson, so it's totally different than what the original was. Well, it was pretty great, though, right? They sound great, don't they? Bravo. You guys can clap for yourselves, too. It's okay. The next tune that we're going to play for you tonight is by a gentleman by the name of Aaron Copeland. And this is from a dance suite called Rodeo, and this is the Hoedown, which is, of course, a dance. And it's best known for an ad that ran many, many years ago. I won't say when. But if you know the tune that came before Beef, It's What's for Dinner, that's what you're about to hear. Don't raise your hand if you know that. I don't want to know. Here we go. Aaron Copeland's Hoedown. Everybody heard the beef, right? Anybody got a beef with that? I don't think so. Okay. All right. Those jokes are done, I promise. No, I don't. Okay, so the next tune we're playing is called the Blue Danube Waltz. It used to be on the beautiful Blue Danube, and it was renamed shortly after it was composed. And that's the title. We know the title, the Blue Danube Waltz, here in the United States. It's been used in many, many, many different TV shows, video games, films. Maybe some of you recognize like some of the Warner Brothers cartoons, Stanley Kubrick's 2001, A Space Odyssey, and also in Titanic. So the next tune, Strauss, the Blue Danube Waltz. I'm going to give them a second to breathe and rearrange their music because a couple of nasty gusts came in from southwest, I guess. So the next tune that we're going to play for you this evening is another Sousa march. Who loves a good march out there? Wouldn't be America without a good march, right? I guess that's a no, right? Okay, we'll get there eventually, I promise. I like a lot of call and response, if you can't tell, so, you know. Anyway, here we go. Sousa El Capitan. The next tune that we have up for you is called Battle Hymn of the Republic. Some people know it as Mine Eyes Have Seen the Glory, and if you grew up in Europe, you know it as Glory, Glory, Hallelujah. So lots of many titles and the same music, roughly. So what you're going to hear tonight, it actually came about, this goes back deep into the Civil War era and combines two tunes. So you hear the Glory, Glory, Hallelujah. That was one tune that was composed. And then, Mine Eyes Have Seen the Glory of the Coming of the Lord, that whole thing, that's two separate things. And then it was put together to make the big tune, Battle Hymn of the Republic. So, without further ado, Battle Hymn of the Republic. Well, time flies, doesn't it? Especially when we're waiting on a drone show. Too soon? Too soon for the flying jokes? Okay, fine, I'll leave them alone. All right, so the next tune, that was a tune by Bizet from the Carmen Suite, actually, but actually from the opera Carmen. That's all about bullfighting and the bulls and all of that fun stuff, so look it up. The next tune that we're going to play is a piece by John Williams. Anybody heard of the composer John Williams? I'm not convinced. Has anybody heard of the composer John Williams? Okay, great. And you've heard of Star Wars, right? Well, I guess we're not doing that tonight. We'll do Indiana Jones instead. What do you think? Okay. All right. So the next tune you're going to hear is from a movie called Indiana Jones, it titles Raiders March. It's the main theme. Everybody knows this. Raise your hand if you know it. You've seen Indiana Jones and you love it, right? Everybody loves Harrison Ford. Okay. So the fun little fact about this tune is that the first thing you hear, the da 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 da, that was one option that John Williams gave Steven Spielberg when he was doing it. Thanks. And then the next part, da 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 da, was actually another option for the main theme of the actual whole movie. Can you imagine that if we have never heard da 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 da? I'd be depressed all day long. That would be terrible. But then Steven Spielberg went to him and said, hey, you know, what if you put those two tunes together? And Mr. Williams, being the consummate musician he is, said, oh, I think that would be a great idea. And the next day he came back, and thus was the Raiders March. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Indiana Jones, Raiders March. Well, are you guys excited to see a drone show? Well, I've got some bad news for you. It's not going to be dark for another 25 minutes. So you're going to have to wait for another 25 minutes. I know I had a bad joke coming and I'm not going to tell you. So it's going to be great. So the last piece by Shostakovich is called Festival Overture, or Festive Overture as some people know it by. And it was an impromptu composition. He was kind of a house composer, and he learned from the director of the whole place that he said, can you come in and write something that's really joyful and nice? And Shostakovich said, sure, and 3 days later, that's what you heard. 3 days later, that's what you heard. So that's pretty cool, right? The power of music. The next piece that so we're kind of moving to our patriotic side of the evening, or more patriotic side of the evening. The next piece that we're going to play for you is from another movie with the dynamic duo of Steven Spielberg and John Williams, called Saving Private Ryan. And I just want to take a minute to say, how many of you have served in our armed forces? Just raise your hand. Bravo. Now here's the million-dollar question, because I know there's not as many of you left, but did anyone out there serve in World War II? Could you please stand? Anybody? That's pretty normal. Who knows someone that served in World War II? Why don't you guys please stand? So if it wasn't for all of their ancestors that fought in World War II, we definitely would not be where we are today, debatably would not be where we are today. So let's give a big round of applause and thank you to all those who fought and served in that great battle, that great war. I should say that horrific war that was absolutely terrible. The next piece we're going to play is called Hymn to the Fallen. And if you watch Saving Private Ryan, perhaps you'll never watch it the same way again, because what I'm about to say is, I think, pretty meaningful. I hope it's meaningful to you. So when Steven Spielberg and John Williams sat down to determine where the music was going to be, they both decided, and actually John Williams said to him, you know, I don't think there should be any music where there's action. So if you watch it again, just notice that wherever there's a lot of action, the battles are what they created what they thought to be more of a symphony, or, you know, like this great visual of all of the battles. And so it didn't need to be supplemented by music. But then when you survey the field of battle and all the carnage and all the terrible things that happened in war, that's when the music comes in, so that it can pull at our heartstrings and really be there to touch us in a special way. Hymn to the Fallen, which we're about to play, was not played until the ending credits. And the reason Spielberg did that is that he thought the piece was so important that it needed to be by itself in the background, so that it would be a standing testament to what they experienced in that battle, so in that war. So without further ado, John Williams, Saving Private Ryan, Hymn to the Fallen. I thought you were asking me a question. I was like, oh, hello. Okay, music. The next piece that we're going to play is a salute to all those who have served. So once again, if you have served in our armed forces, that would be the United States Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, or the Space Force, could you please stand and be recognized? Let's give them all a round of applause. Anyone in the orchestra currently are serving? Yep, there we go. Our principal flutist is currently serving the United States Army, as am I. So, thank you. So we're going to play the Armed Forces on Salute. So when you hear your service song, hopefully we can all remember what our service songs sound like. Please stand and be acknowledged, whether it's whatever it is. And I'm sorry, Space Force, we don't have your song yet. It's not available yet. But maybe next year. So, Armed Forces Salute. It's almost dark enough, I promise. It's almost dark enough, I promise. The next piece we're going to play for you tonight is by George and Ira Gershwin, called Strike Up the Band. Well, one person loves it. That's great. Strike up the band. Okay. I think that's our president of the board, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Love you, Kathleen. Ladies and gentlemen, this piece was originally composed in 1927. It was rewritten because it was basically a flop. And the movie that you know from 1940 was almost completely rewritten with the exception of the main title, Strike Up the Band. So what you know of Judy Garland and all of that, it's totally different from the actual musical that was originally, well, I shouldn't say totally, quite different from the musical that you originally heard in 1927. That was supposed to be funny. Was anybody here in 19, okay, never mind. All right. All right, thanks. So, it's after this piece. Okay, great. Okay, so, without further ado, Gershwin's Strike Up the Band. Well, we are almost to our grand finale. The drone show, anybody? All right. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this time we're going to start with 76 trombones from the Music Man. Then we're going to go into God Bless America. We're going to welcome Taylor back up on stage, who's going to sing a little bit of God Bless America for us. Then we're going to go into Washington Post, Stars and Stripes Forever, and we're going to finish with, I'll just let that be a surprise. But midway through that is the drone show, so you feel free to clap between pieces, but we're going to pretty much keep going because we're on a timer once they start. Thank you so much for having us. We hope that you all enjoy the rest of the evening in the drone show. Please give a warm round of applause for the Macomb Symphony. I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to Shelby Township for having us and for hosting all of this wonderful stuff. So this is great. Thank you to all the vendors who have been here tonight, everybody that supplied food and all of the drinks and everything. So thank you so much. It's been a lovely night, and enjoy the rest of the show. Not like the brazen giant of Greek flame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land, here at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch whose flame is the imprisoned lightning and her name Mother of Exiles. From her beacon-handed glows worldwide welcome her with mild eyes, the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep ancient lands, your storied pomp cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, give me your poor, huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse teeming shore, send the homeless tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door.